big deals of the summer. Not guaranteed, because it's important to say RB Leipzig want to keep Diomande. They would like to renew his contract. However, that's not going to stop the vultures circling, and Liverpool are at the forefront of that. We've talked there with Munoz about how Liverpool want to strengthen in the wide attacking areas, the wings, and it's clear that Diomande has been their top target for some time. We revealed on The Athletic that they had made contact initially with RB Leipzig, and that they were in a really strong position in terms of the player side of things. And we revealed exclusively that they, in their approach to RB Leipzig, had expressed a willingness. It's essentially an offer to pay a package worth approaching 100 million euros, which I don't think is their first proposal either. I think they were lower, and they've improved it. So this is getting quite serious now. They've done a lot of work on the player side that puts them firmly in the driving seat if he is going to leave RB Leipzig. They're tough negotiators led by Oliver Mintzlaff, so we can't say anything for certain just yet, and we've seen in the past that it's like pulling teeth when you're trying to get a player from them, but eventually if you hit the right price, they tend to sell. There is strong competition from Paris Saint-Germain. They do want Yan Diomande, and normally when they want a player, they tend to get them, and they're becoming an increasingly attractive proposition as the back-to-back European champions, and of course champions of France as well. But at this moment in time, as I understand it, unless they get an indication from the player that PSG is his choice, they're not going to approach RB Leipzig. If they do get that indication, then of course they'll try and structure a deal. And it's worth pointing out that the bosses at both clubs, Mintzlaff and Nasser Al-Khalifi at PSG, have a very strong relationship, and relationships do count for a lot in this industry. They may be behind right now, but let's see how it evolves. And that's why Liverpool have other options as well. There's a number of players they're looking at. You'll have seen the names floating around, including Yankuba Minte of Brighton, a couple of others too. But it's very evident where their focus is. And I don't expect RB Leipzig to accept a deal at this value. But if Liverpool keep going up, then clearly it's going to get extremely interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
That really could dominate in the days and weeks ahead, because I think there is an acceptance at St James's Park that Tonali could exit this summer, but the money has to be right, and we think that's around £100 million, who have a very significant salary demand as well. But Tottenham are in for him. What I see happening here is Tottenham trying to get in a place where they know they can do a deal with the player on salary, and I'm hearing that they are offering him really big money to join them, and then they'll go to Newcastle. If that part is okay, they will open talks and try and negotiate a fee. It really would be quite something, wouldn't it, if they get a player of Tonali's stature for around £100 million, a level they've never been to in terms of transfer fee. And also the salary numbers I'm hearing would take Tottenham to an area that you didn't used to see them go before. But at the time of recording this, I'm not aware of club-to-club talks. It's just between Tottenham and the representatives of Tonali at the moment. There's also interest from Manchester City, and that's concrete, revealed by Daniel Taylor, my colleague on The Athletic, that City are not only interested in Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest, but also in Tonali from Newcastle. Not one or the other, that they would be prepared to go for both of them. However, clearly it will take some departures. Obviously, Bernardo Silva's departed already, but what's going to happen with Rodri? Only a year to go on his contract, and some uncertainty there. What's going to happen with Reinders, with Nico Gonzalez, and if one or two depart, there's then space to bring in one or two. I mean, the finance would be massive, and they've not got either of them yet, because the conversations with Nottingham Forest are ongoing around Elliot Anderson. But Tonali is certainly one who is subject to huge interest, and it's a really captivating story within the market right now.
Yeah, there's a few captivating stories, to be fair.
Somewhere in the region
of 55 to 60 million pounds. Moving on to a younger target, Arsenal and the Leicester City winger Jeremy Monga. This deal is essentially agreed in principle, and it appears the clubs have been able to come to an agreement without having to go to a tribunal, and Monga has already agreed to the move, so keep an eye on this deal because it could now develop and be formalised very quickly indeed, potentially as early as this week or before the month is out. Manchester United were another club that had looked at Monga, but they never ended up making a bid, and Leicester's asking price throughout this negotiation has been relatively high because the teenager is viewed as extremely talented. There's other players that Arsenal have on their radar. Alex Scott in central midfield. They've looked at Adam Wharton in the past as well, and a new midfielder is likely to arrive at the Emirates Stadium. Don't also forget about players like Junior Krupi or Julian Alvarez, who are on Arsenal's radar. Julian Alvarez said,